To the last Witchwood card reveal review stream on Smart Moves. It's April 9th. We got the expansion launching in a couple of days. So that's exciting. We've got all the cards revealed today. We have the final reveal stream with Day 9 and Ben Brode. Tons of stuff to talk about. I'm Setsuko, joined by my co-host Slicky. And we're going to jump right into this because, there are a lot of cards. So let's kick things off with Druid. We got 3 cards. So first up, we got Ferocious Howl. 3 mana Druid spell. Draw a card. Gain 1 armor for each card in your hand. So supporting that hand Druid archetype. And honestly, I think this isn't that bad. Even if you're not playing like a hand Druid. So I think like you could probably on average get, if you can get 5 armor off of it, it's a shield block, which sees play in some warrior decks occasionally. It cycles itself. It has the potential to get you like up to 9 armor. So doesn't seem too bad. In the right deck, like you don't run this in Token Druid, right?
See, I don't. This is one of those times when the wording is ambiguous because it says draw 1 armor for each card, and normally they say for each other. So maybe it is 10. Hard to say.
That's true. But I think it's a okay card in the right deck.
Yeah, and especially since really nowadays Druid has about as much armor synergy as Warrior does. There's no reason for them not to have a shield block card.
Yep. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Then we have Druid of the Scythe. 3 mana 2/2. A new choose 1 card. Transform into a 4/2 with Rush or a 2/4 with Taunt.
It's good.
So it's a Panther with Rush instead of Stealth?
Yeah, it's really especially handy if the main thing I can see you using it for is killing off like 1/3s, those really annoying 1/3s that people drop on turn 1. You can coin this out, or you can wild growth into it, or something. And that seems to be its main function to me, is kind of a control card, or you can use it as a 2/4 if you're playing against an aggro deck. So it's just a solid, well-rounded card.
Yeah, good good flexibility. Like to point out that it is not a good recruit minion. I just keep looking. I'm like, come on, give me something for recruit Druid, and this was not it. So, good card, good flexibility. And then finally for Druid, we have the Bewitched Guardian. 5 mana 4/1 Taunt. Battle Cry, gain +1 health for each card in your hand. And we saw this guy get kind of monstrous in the hand Druid on stream. So he could be like a 4/10, 4/8, all kinds of good flexibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed pretty good.
Yeah. If you are going to be playing hand Druid, then it's on about equal playing field with Druid of the Claw, which is a good card. So Druid of the Claw is better flexibility. This is bigger taunt. So
yeah. All right. Moved on to Hunter. We got 2 cards here. First up, we got the Vile Brood Skitterer. 5 mana 1/3 Beast, Poisonous Rush. So basically an assassinate that can get a little screwed up by taunts potentially, but also is a beast, so it has some nice beast synergy with Hunter. Could Dire Frenzy this thing for a 4/6 rush. It's pretty with poisonous. It's not bad, but
yeah. I think the coolest thing about it is it's going to be an awesome stitched monster.
right.
That
Poisonous Rush.
Poisonous Rush, and then whatever other thing you put on it, this thing would be pretty busted. especially with like Dispatch Kodo or something. You can just
Mm.
almost clear the entire board at once with this card, or with Bloatbat. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Um, and I Ben Bro kept talking about, you could use this to kill off small minions if they've got small minions on the board. If it's turn 5 and you're playing this, I feel like you're not going to be playing it to kill off small minions.
Right.
Um,
And the 3 health, I mean, most of the time it looked like it's basically going to be a 1-for-1.
yeah, so I don't feel like it's a great card. Hunter has better removal options in general, so
Yeah.
unless you're using this for a synergy, I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, I think the low health, making it a 1-for-1. Uh, yeah, yeah, I agree. And then the other one, which before we like, there's a lot of cool artwork in this set. Like, just some cool freaking cards. I like this one quite a bit. This is the Carrion Drake, 5 mana 3/7 dragon. So more dragons for Hunter. Battle cry: if a minion died this turn, gain poisonous. So we already talked about what was the other card? Wing Blast. Getting a minion to die in Hunter is pretty easy. So I think there's a high likelihood that you can drop this as a 3/7 poisonous, which seems pretty good.
Yeah. Those other poison 5 mana cards saw fringe play, but I feel like with this bigger body, it might actually see play. And the fact that it's got a dragon tag has some synergies.
Do you think this will enable, like, this makes me want to kind of try out a Dragon Hunter in Wild? You know, use Nether Spite, and I mean, there's no Draconet Operative, which is super powerful, but I don't know.
Maybe. I honestly haven't given this card that much thought. I mean, it seems really good, especially the fact that you can get two of them. I think the biggest thing when I really look at it is most poisonous minions have like no attack. It's really rare that a poisonous minion has over 2 attack.
Yeah,
So this being a 3/7, I think it'll probably see play a lot more than other things because before it was like, well, I'm gonna play this. If they have removal, then it's just dead. But this one, it's like, well, they have to have removal. It's got to be big removal, and you can actually deal damage to face if they don't have an answer.
right.
So it's a pretty solid card. I don't know about Dragon Hunter. I don't know what the synergies are aside from what is it, Emerus?
Yeah,
What else?
yeah. And there's a
Synergy?
few, I think some other neutral dragons that we'll get to.
That neutral dragon. Yeah, if you do that neutral dragon with this, I could see it, but I'm kind of I don't know what the synergy is with Hunter specifically.
Right.
You know, like what it is about Hunter that makes it a good class for dragons. Because of the Paladin, there were really good control cards that meshed well with like Bookworm and just the general power of dragons. But I don't know if Hunter has that same kind of fit.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting though. I think the reason it kind of is exciting to me is that thematically, this green card plus a dragon on it really makes me think of green in Magic the Gathering. And I used to love playing green, so I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I think just subconsciously, like that's what's getting in my head. It's like, hey, this is a big beast on a green card. That's yeah. So
It could be. It does look like a Magic card. When you talked about the art, my first thought was this looks like a card they would draw in Magic.
yeah. So cool card. I like it. We'll see if it sees any play. All right, that's it for Hunter. Now we got Mage, where we have a ton of cards to go over. So we'll start out with Snap Freeze, 2-cost spell. Freeze a minion. If it's already frozen, destroy it.
How much did Shatter cost?
Uh, 2, I think.
So this is strictly a better Shatter.
I think so.
That's stupid.
Let's see.
Uh, yep.
Yep, 2.
Okay. I, I'm gonna have to get over my annoyance real quick.
I mean, I think it's a good card. So,
Yeah. It yeah, I think it's a good card.
if you're playing this
Uh,
Elemental Mage that it looks like might be coming, this comboed with Glacial Shard.
yeah, you don't really see freeze effects used outside of Freeze Mage, and even in Freeze Mage, I feel like they don't usually run Shatter. So I
But
feel like this card isn't going to see play.
I, if there's the Elemental Mage, right? Glacial Shard plus this is a 2 card, 3 mana, destroy anything. If you're running Jaina and you get your water elementals, they freeze things, and you can use Snap Freeze there as well. I think it has the potential to see some play depending on if Elemental Mage is actually a thing.
Maybe, but generally the whole thing about being a mage is that you have so many big board clears, you don't really need that many individual clears.
But if you do, in this case, like an even mage of some sort, you lose some of your board clears
That's true.
as well.
You do lose Dragon's Fury and Flame Strike. So yeah, if you're playing even Elemental Mage, then yes, but if you're playing odd Elemental Mage, then no.
Yeah.
Oh, and also if you're playing odd Elemental Mage, I mean even Elemental Mage, you don't have Glacial Shard.
Right,
So
right. But
okay.
I think there's potential for this card.
Okay.
Maybe not tier 0 mage deck potential, but 3 or 4 maybe.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, then we've got Cinderstorm. Another mage spell, 3 mana, deal 5 damage randomly split among all enemies. So I think, I mean, I like cards like this. Don't know if it's good, but I just like the random ping kind of stuff.
I don't really like it. Um, Mostly because the thing I really liked about Arcane Missiles was sometimes you would get maybe Sorcerer's Apprentice on board or something, and it would literally cost 0. And if you're going by kind of the scale of, well, how good is a card? Well, you have to look at its value, like how much damage it does based off of its price. Well, a price 0 card has like infinite value. But at 2 mana, maybe deal 5 to a bunch of enemies. It's not great. I don't think you can't use it with like Malagos, or it doesn't really synergize well with that, or Archmage Anthonitis, the tiny spell triggers. So I think Arcane Missiles is strictly better.
Well, and I think what the kobold, the new kobold guy, he's a 3 mana, right?
Which one?
The apprentice, the 3 mana. What is he? A 2/1, and he deals 3 randomly.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could lose 2 damage and gain a 2/1 body, and that card doesn't see play at all. So I kind of am on the same page. Like 3 mana deal 5 randomly is like, why wouldn't you just go? And I say, why wouldn't you just go 4 mana fireball, deal 6 to something you want? Well, if you're running odd mage, maybe this is something you need. I don't know, but yeah, I think the power level is not too crazy. So
No, I don't think it's great. Yeah, I think you're right. This is one of those cards where either it's they want to lower the high rolls of mage, or it's just filler for like odd mage or something.
yeah. Speaking of odd mage and mage in general, we've got a couple of 5 costs here. So we've got the Bonfire Elemental, 5 mana, 5/5 Elemental. Battle Cry, if you played an Elemental last turn, draw a card. How many times can I say Elemental in this span of 10 seconds?
Yeah, I guess I didn't really need to call it an elemental.
So 5 mana, 5/5, draw a card with a condition.
It's pretty good. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's like a 6. It's a fine card.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much where I'm at. Seems okay.
Yeah. You know, when you're playing like The only thing I'm gonna chime in is, I was just playing that deck you saw me playing. It was mostly an elemental deck. Uh, since you're playing mostly minions, sometimes it's hard to get good card draw.
Yep.
But also with an elemental deck, you're normally playing on curve, so you don't need that much card draw. So just subbing this like Arcane Intellects out for this, it just seems fine. It seems good.
Yeah. Then we have the Curio Collector, 5 mana 4/4. Whenever you draw a card, gain +1/+1. I immediately thought of the Book of Specters. If you've got this on the board, you play Book of Specters. It's already 5/5 because you drew a card for your turn, and then you add 3 more, and all of a sudden it's a 8/8 potentially on turn 6.
Well, if it stays alive a turn, yeah.
Right.
I feel like this is a much better version of Daring Reporter, and Daring Reporter at least saw play in Arena, which normally means that it's of a good neutral power level, not constructive power level, but in a vacuum, good power level. And with Mage, it's so easy to draw a lot of cards if you really want to draw a lot of cards. I think this is a really, really strong card, and it's going to be like an immediate remove card anytime you see it in the deck, because it's going to be really dangerous in 2 turns.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like compare it to Monoworm, right? Monoworm is way cheaper, but just that ramping of play a spell, play a spell, play a spell. Like, I feel like Mage can draw just as many cards as they can play spells. Like there's no, it's not like, oh yeah, they've got a ton of spells, they don't have a lot of card draw. It's like, no, they got a bunch of both. And man, if you've got like Alaneth or something equipped, this thing can get out of hand super fast.
Oh yeah, this is between this and Book of Specters. I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing Zoo Mage, which is going to annoy me to death. So they're gonna start with probably not Mana Worm. It's probably gonna be like small to medium sized elementals, and then they're going to pick up Alaneth for the draw, and then Curio Collector is going to go through the roof, and then they're going to be dropping like 4 little minions a turn. You're not going to be able to clear all of it, then you die. It's going to be annoying.
Yep. I agree. All right, and let's see. We've got the Arcane Keysmith, 4 mana 2/2. So crap stats, but battle cry. Discover a secret and put it into the battlefield. This just seems good to me. Like,
that's awesome.
Like, you get to eliminate the secrets from your deck, right? Which helps if you're playing this minion mage or if you're wanting to run the Book of Specters or something. You're getting a 2/2 plus a secret that you discover. Not random. I mean, it is random, but you get to choose from that at the discoverment. That just seems good.
Yeah, and it's okay. So if a secret costs 3 and this card costs 4, you're essentially getting a body for 1 mana.
Yeah.
That's a 2/2. And you don't have to draw the spell. You don't have to play the spell. And the only did they even add any secrets?
No.
So they didn't add
not to mage.
So essentially what that means is you're going to be getting from a very small pool, so you know what you're going to be discovering.
Yep.
This isn't like you have a chance of discovering some crap secret that you don't want.
Right.
No, you're going to be discovering explosive runes or ice. Well, you can't discover ice block, but you're going to be discovering. You know what you're going to discover.
Yeah.
It's not in wild. You got like a 1 in 3 chance of getting maybe what you want, but in standard, you're going to get what you want almost every time. So you don't even need the secrets. That's crazy good.
Yep. And finally, we got the other mage legendary. This is Archmage Arugal, 2 mana 2/2. Whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. So once again, this guy is cheap as hell. So I see some real, combos with him and Book of Specters, or him and any sort of tutor effects. Like you drop this guy, you drop a nice tutor card. Like, what if you played this guy and Lady Ashmore or something, and you had those double, 2 copies of Rush, Lifesteal, that kind of stuff. You're drawing 3 specific cards you want and getting copies of those cards as well. Like, I can see a lot of combos because this guy is so cheap.
What's a tutor?
Tutor effect is, I think it comes from Magic the Gathering. It just means when you are drawing for a specific type of card. So, like, the Arcanologist who draws a secret, that's a tutor effect because you're playing and drawing a specific type of card from your deck, not just a card. So, yeah. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah, it seems really strong, and once again with the whole like Zoo Mage archetype that I was talking about, you could like if you can get this out turn 5 or something and have it stick, which kind of the way Zoo works is like either something's going to stick, something isn't going to stick, so they have to kind of prioritize what they're going to kill. And if this is the thing that sticks, and then you play Alaneth on turn 6, well, then you just got 3 copies of the 3 minions you just drew.
Yeah, or if you run out your whole hand except for this guy, and turn 4, 5, 6 comes around, and you could drop this guy and then play Book of Specters. I mean, you potentially have 6 cards in your hand. That's almost kind of like a Divine Favor for an extra mana with a body on the board. That's a pretty sick combo. And Mage has plenty of other ways to draw cards as well, so...
Yeah, and then, of course, for the meme value, you could always play this with the doll guy, Dollmaster Dorian, and just get some crazy stuff going on.
Yep.
Seems really strong. The price seems really good, so you can drop it like a spell. Really good card.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Paladin. We've got 3 cards. First one up is Ghostly Charger, 5 mana 3/4 beast with Divine Shield and Rush. I think it's pretty decent. I mean, Paladin can buff this thing a lot of different ways, potentially. Even if you don't. I mean, a 3/4 Divine Shield Rush doesn't seem awful.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's kind of like a slightly better version of that one guy, the 6 mana 4/2 a charge.
Yeah.
Because this might actually stick. Of course, this is Rush instead of charge, so, there's that going on. But yeah, it's probably going to stick Divine Shield and Rush. So probably like total value is probably like 6 mana. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that specifically this might fit into a deck where you care about Divine Shields, more so than just caring about control. Like if you have Forging on the board or something, and you can play this guy, rush him into something, clear him, he gives 2 attack to that guy. I think there's some potential there, possibly. Yeah. I'm a little worried about the mana cost being 5 because it does seem like just kind of a bit high for the body, but
I think it's part of how Paladin works, though. They never give Paladin actual single target removal. They give them weapons or, charge minions, Divine Shield minions, protective things, never aggressive things. So...
And then we've got hidden... Oh, we've got this one. Paragon of Light. Did we go over this one? No, we didn't.
Nope.
Alright, so this is a 3 mana 2/5. While this minion has 3 or more attack, it has Taunt and Lifesteal. So, 3 mana 2/5, not awful. Kind of awful as a vanilla minion on the board, but we've seen really easy ways to give +1 attack to things. And so a 3 mana 3 or 2/5 Taunt and Lifesteal. Assuming you had to put a buff on it to get it to the 3 or more attack, like, I don't know.
It seemed really solid in play.
It did. Uh,
Um,
I mean,
so
they played what Sound the
sound the bell
Bells on it and a couple other cards, and it was like a 3/7 lifesteal minion.
with taunt. That's
Yeah, with
better than
taunt.
Prince of War. Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, I think if the buff paladin actually sees play, this is definitely going to be in there. Uh,
And healing paladin,
and
like
healing
that we're
paladin.
talking about, like being able to put down a taunt with lifesteal. Uh, yeah, that could be pretty sick.
Yeah, I think this is a really powerful card. Of course, this is always going to be a combo card. You don't really want to draw it as a 2/5. But even if it is a 2/5, drop a 2/5 on turn 3. It's not bad.
No,
It'll hold hold for a while.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a really good card.
All right, so Hidden Wisdom, new paladin secret, obviously costs 1 mana. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, draw 2 cards. So a little bit of sort of unpredictable card draw for paladin that cost 1 mana. Uh,
I like the artwork.
yeah, we got a secret room back there.
Secret room behind some bookshelves.
I think this is not too bad actually. I mean, the way I'm seeing it is that most of the time you're gonna like cheat it out somehow with the Bellringer Sentry or something like that, or with the legendary that we're about to see. You could still convert it into something better later on down the line. And I think a lot of decks do have a tendency to play 3 cards or more in a turn as you get towards the later game, especially in control matchups. But
Right.
I don't know. I think cheating this out is perfectly fine.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. It makes me worried though. A lot of people have been complaining lately because of Dude Paladin about Divine Favor,
Yeah.
and this makes me think that they're considering nerfing Divine Favor by just giving Paladin more kinds of draw, or just Hall of Faming it next expansion cycle.
Yeah.
And I never thought the card was that because the card is entirely match dependent.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't like that about it. I don't know. But I think this is I mean, obviously 1 mana draw 2 is really good,
Right. It's just
but
it's a very iffy. I think it's kind of like Divine Favor in the sense that it's an iffy condition that can be very heavily influenced by your matchup.
yeah. But I think that the strength of this card, I think it's one of those cards where you don't want to activate it and you also don't want to play around it. That's the strength of it. Even if you know what it is, either way it's going to make you screw up the way you play. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good.
All right. Then we got the last Paladin Legendary, Prince Liam, 5 mana, 5/5. So Loatheb body, which has seen play before if it has a powerful effect. Battlecry, transform all 1-cost cards in your deck into legendary minions. So any 1-cost card, not specifically minions or anything like that.
I don't know. Is this good?
I think it's entirely dependent on the type of legendary minions that you get, but I do think that it has some value in the sense that, if you do get to the point where you're like, okay, I put like 5 secrets in my deck, it's turn 8, I don't really want to top deck secrets, and you play this guy and turn your secrets into legendaries, then at that point, you're just rolling the dice. Maybe you get good legendaries like we saw on stream, where the guy got Emerus and it just went crazy. But maybe you get your Lore Walker Chos and your Nat Pagels and stuff, and you're like, well, would you have rather had a secret?
The idea is really weird to me though because I feel like if you're stacking your deck with 1-cost spells and minions, then you're playing an aggro deck. And normally aggro doesn't transfer to late game. I guess with this card you're saying, well, you can, but I don't know. Like, I guess you could like turn 8 or something. You could play this, then play Divine Favor, and be like, okay, I'm ready for the control game now. It's a pretty weird idea. Seems like it could make some sort of new tempo-y archetype. Um, but also, if you do actually draw all your early game cards in the early game like you would want to, then this card's useless.
Right. It's a 5 mana 5/5. But I
Right.
think that if you're building a deck that is control oriented and you can kind of steer it to where you have some of those one cost things that would kind of help you. I don't know. In the next expansions we'll have to see. But if you do have some like get down as like a secret that you can play early. I don't know, the protector or defender, something like that, Argent defender, whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. That's something you could play early game because your opponent will attack in and it sort of defends your face a little bit. And then you don't actually
Get down. And my
Yeah.
first thought's like some sort of dance card
Yeah.
where you play it and everybody starts dancing. Let's
It's
get
from
down,
the, it's from
guys.
the, it's from the Karazhan Party expansion. But yeah, I could see where you can kind of tailor some of those tools into those one cost cards, potentially knowing that, okay, well, at some point you'll flip it. I don't know if that's a good deck, but I think it's an interesting sort of deck building challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Because I wasn't really around that much when this was going on, but did Elise see a lot of play back in, uh, what was that? Explorers?
Yeah, in a couple of particular decks, Control Warrior particularly.
Okay, so yeah, this seems like kind of a better version of Elise, I guess, because you don't have to throw away your whole deck.
And
You
it
can
doesn't
pick
take like 3 cards to like finish it all out.
right.
I think this could see some play in a potentially weird deck, or it'll just be garbage because the effect is super unpredictable.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those cards that can get you more value, but how much value it gives you is entirely random. So, more value, yes. A lot of value.
Man, imagine if this was a druid card in Wild. Just to put your little jade, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Just put like 30 of those things in your deck and then drop this thing and all right, you've got a deck of 30 legendary minions now.
Okay, how do we make this happen? How do we get a paladin card?
Right?
Well, I don't know if there is a way to. Well, I'm sure there's a way. I don't know how to, though. That'd be awesome.
We'll have to figure it
Oh,
out.
I know how you do it. Tortolan Forager.
Hmm.
Tortolan Forager, for some reason, always gets me Archmage Anthonitis. So maybe it could start getting me Prince Liam.
So there's a deck for you. You got you're playing Wild with Tortolan Forager and your Jade Idols or whatever.
Synergy, baby! Synergy!
All right, well let's move on to Priest so we can talk about how Priest keeps getting good cards. 4 Priest cards. So we've got the Squashling, 2 mana 2/1 Echo, Battle Cry, restore 2 health or deal damage depending on what you have on the board. As we saw on stream.
Yeah, another card that reminds me of the old game Medieval. There's a level where you have to fight a bunch of little pumpkin dudes that run around.
This is actually a little companion pet in World of Warcraft. It'll like follow you around.
It's cute. It seems like a really good card, I think, because, I mean, just the ability on turn 10, if your hand is light, and you just, like, okay, well, the board's full again, and I have 10 more health, 14.
It
I mean,
kind
that
of
just,
reminds me of Kobold Librarian in a sense, where like Kobold Librarian, yes, it's only 1 mana. You get a 2/1, but you essentially get your hero power. And this is kind of like, okay, you're paying 1 mana for a 2/1 and 1 mana to use your hero power on something. So it seems like out of a lot of the Echo cards that we've seen, I think this one is one of the better ones for the class that it's in, because there's a lot of ways to utilize that healing in priest, and you could play this thing a few times instead of using your hero power on something. So
Yeah, there's that, and there are also one thing I really like about this card, aside from the fact that it just seems like a solid all-around card, is it enables new deck archetypes that nobody plays or has played, I think, really. I've seen a couple of variations of this in Wild where people will play Corrupted Healbot and then they'll play like Embrace Darkness. And they'll play the card like Twilight Summoning that gets you 2 Death Rattle minions that died. So instead of healing your opponent's face for 16 when you get 2 of them, it deals 16 damage to your face. So you could like, I would like the idea of the Divine Favor or Embrace Darkness combo with this, where you just do 8 damage to a person's face in 1 turn, and you also get a full board. That seems really powerful, and it's also a priest archetype that pretty much nobody ever plays except for the memes. But the ability to deal like how much is that? 12 damage? No, because you're playing Embrace Darkness. 8 damage to a person's face and get 4 2/1s on board in 1 turn is really powerful.
yeah,
So I like the idea that this could create a new archetype for priest.
yeah.
And you could also do like a Light's Champion or something, and get in, a ton of different healing all in 1 turn, and then bust your opponent in the face. That would be really good too. You could like double down in Wild, Battle Cry with Bran. Now like just 2 or 3 of these guys, and your thing is now what, like I don't even know how much damage it would gain. A lot. You can do all kinds of cool memes with this card.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Definitely one of the better Echo cards that we've seen.
But the weird thing about it is, even though this is a pretty good card, I don't know if it's going to see play just because Priest's other cards are just so strong.
Right. Yep.
So
then we have the Quartz Elemental, 5 mana, 5/8 Elemental. Can't attack while damaged.
Mean card.
Seems bad.
Yeah. Mean card. I could see it being in a really powerful card in a Silence Priest, but unless Silence Priest starts seeing play again, I don't think it'll see any play.
Yep. All right, Divine Hymn. New priest spell, 2 mana. Restore 6 health to all friendly characters.
It seems really strong.
Yeah, a little bit. In priest, I mean.
Okay. So we have 3 mana, deal 12 damage just to your face, or you can play 2 mana, heal your entire fucking board and your face. So let's just run both and never ever die, and fuck you. This is just stupid.
Yeah, I saw this. I think this was the card that just made me go, seriously? Like, really?
Oh my goodness. And the worst thing about it to me is, like, they're the Divine Spirit Inner Fire Priest that's wrecking everybody right now. Because they have so much board presence and tempo, you just have to try to whittle the minions down little by little, and then this card is just going to be like, no, that's not happening. All my minions are back at full health. Fuck you. Divine Spirit Inner Fire, I win.
Yep.
No, this card is too strong.
It seems
No.
it seems ridiculous.
Yes, this card is ridiculous. I hate it. I hate this card. This is stupid. And it's the weirdest thing about it is it's like, on the surface, this doesn't seem like, it seems really good, but in other classes this wouldn't see any play. But
Right.
because of the way priest minions are statted and the way that they play their games, this is incredibly powerful.
It's kind of like replay all the minions on your board and give them charge. It's like,
And like, what archetype would you not run this card in? Big priest, you're always going to have minions that have more than 6 health. Tempo, you're always going to be playing low attack, high statted minions that buff each other. And you're always going to have giant minions that this is going to just be awesome with. You're always going to get favorable trades, and Wild, you're going to be able to play like pint size, destroy their board, then when you don't have Pint Size, you can just attack their board and kill everything, then play Divine Hymn and get all your shit back.
You can Obsidian Statue, so that thing takes even longer to die.
Yeah.
So then we have a low attack, high health minion here. The Night Scale Matriarch. 7 mana, 4/9 dragon. So Priest has got another dragon to use. Whenever a friendly minion is healed, summon a 3/3 whelp.
Does this have synergy with any other cards? I honestly don't think this card will see much play though. Just because like normally they're gonna have a pretty full board anyway. But maybe it will. I don't know.
Free 3/3s. That's stupid as shit.
Yeah, that is really powerful. But it is late game, but it does have crazy synergy with Circle of Healing. So if you have, yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty good, but at the same time, if you're playing like Circle of Healing, I don't know. This is one of those cards where if you're ahead on board, then it's good, but if you're way ahead on board, then it's bad. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see it be played some to see if it's really...
I think it doesn't make up for the loss of the dragon cards that are rotating out, but right. And I think just those rotating out might kill Dragon Priest even with a card like this.
One of the things about this is it's a 4/9, so it can just work off of itself. And that is really strong. So even if you drop it on turn 7, and it's like your only minion, if they can't kill it that turn, then you're just going to start getting 3/3s. And that is really strong. I would like to see another archetype created for Priest that focuses on healing, because that's not really one of their strong suits anymore. But at the same time, if it's another overpowered thing, then I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that's Priest. Let's go on and talk about Rogue. We got 3 cards this time. So we've got the Cutthroat Buccaneer. 3 mana, 2/4 pirate. Combo, give your weapon +1 attack.
That seems good.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't play that kind of Rogue and haven't honestly played against Kingsbane Rogue too much to know whether or not this is giving them too many tools or, you know.
Well, the way... I didn't play the typical Kingsbane Rogue, but I don't think that they play a lot of...
I did notice this is the second pirate that Rogues got in this set, and we also have the pirate in the Nightmare Amalgam as well, and so I was kind of thinking, I wonder if Wild Pirate Rogue is going to be something you can do now.
Well, a lot of people play Kingsbane Rogue in Wild because it has Tinkerer's Oil, and it also has Barber Bot.
Right.
And so Kingsbane Rogue is a little bit better in Wild than it is in Standard. And I feel like this card could bring the power level of Standard Kingsbane Rogue to around that level. Maybe it's not as high because Oil Rogue's that's crazy strong. And like Kingsbane Rogue does run some cheap spells, and they do some combo synergies, but a lot of their stuff is I feel like this is a little bit on the weaker side of things they have, because they have Captain Greenskin.
Yeah, they have a lot of ways to buff without having a combo.
Yeah, without having to combo. But I mean, I guess if you're going to be playing the Deadly Poison anyway, which is a cheap spell, then you might as well play this too. And it does give them early game tempo, which is a kind of a weak spot for Kingsbane Rogue. So it seems a solid minion, but I am worried about the power level of Kingsbane Rogue getting too high. Because if it's already like a tier 3 deck, I think. So if they give it too much synergy, it might be a scary deck to play against, or just really annoying. You know what we say about annoying cards, right?
Yep. If They're annoying. They're strong. All right. Now we got 3 mana 3/3 beast, Blink Fox, Battle
Talked about
Cry.
this last time.
Add a random card to your hand. Did we? No, it came out. It came out when we were done.
Nope. We
Yeah,
talked about it last time because we were talking about how strong it was.
No way.
Yes.
No, they were revealed at the same time. Yeah, they were.
No, we talked about Blink Fox and Pickpocket at the same time.
Did we?
Yes. I am 100% sure.
No, we didn't.
Because you were talking about how Blink Fox was one of your favorite artworks out of any of the cards.
That was in a message.
Okay.
Because these came out in an email, didn't they? Because we didn't talk about Tess.
I know we didn't talk about Tess.
Yeah, they revealed both of them in the email.
Okay, maybe it was a message. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong.
Well, either way, this card is strong. Right?
It's strong.
And I like the artwork. So, all right, we're done.
Yeah, it's a good card. It's a 3/3, so it's good tempo, and it gets you resources, which traditionally is something that Rogue likes and needs. So there's absolutely no downside to this card.
Yep.
So
I think it's definitely going to see play, I think.
Yeah, see play a lot. I'll play.
And pairs with the Rogue Legendary, Tess Greymane.
Tess Greymane.
8 mana 6/6 Battle Cry. Replay every card from another class you've played this game. Targets chosen randomly. So when this popped up, I said Burgle Yogg, right? Like, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I guess. But the coolest thing about this is just the prospect. It basically works like Zoth, I feel like. You can just refill your entire board if you've burgled a lot of minions that game. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I love this card and hate this card, right? I love this card because the artwork is sick, I think. And I just generally... I never got Yogg. I wanted to play with Yogg, but I just never got him and wasn't willing to craft him. Then he got nerfed and didn't want to craft him even more. So this time around, I don't even care if this deck works. I'm crafting this card so I can screw around with it because I missed that with Yogg. And... But the thing is, I don't like... I've done some Burgle stuff in Rogue, and it just seems super unreliable. Because you never know what you're going to get. Like, sometimes you get, like, awesome cards, and you're like, yeah, and then the other times you get, crap you can't use, or...
Yeah, but that's what you like. You like Deck of Wonders, so this card's perfect for you.
Yeah, it is. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll use it, but... I'll have to see how good the steel synergies are with current standard, because they're definitely way stronger in wild.
Yeah. And I honestly don't think this card is going to be that strong just because Burgle is a lot more unreliable, but I think it has the potential to be strong. And maybe the potential is higher in standard because there's a smaller pool of cards.
Yeah. I see this as kind of a weaker version of Lynessa. Because Lynessa, you can control exactly what spell she has on her. And this, you can't control, but you also can possibly get much stronger cards. If you, get 2 other class legendaries, and you play this late game after they've cleared those, and you get those back, that's way more powerful than Lynessa.
And if you played the Rogue Death Knight, and you've been doubling some of those burgled spells.
Double dipping, yeah.
So.
And one of the big problems with Lynessa is that most of the time you end up going into fatigue because you'll start getting a bunch of draw spells cast on her, and that's problematic. And this doesn't have that problem with it.
But the other thing is, your burgles are random, but you can kind of determine what she does by playing, only the cards that you want her to replicate. And it could be that you play those cards, drop her, she does all the repeats, and then you're free to play the stuff that you wouldn't have wanted replicated as well. So
I just realized that this card is a buff for Lillian Voss. I never got Lillian Voss,
right.
But this actually makes me kind of want to play Lillian Voss.
Yeah, I mean, because most of your Burgle stuff in Wild anyway is going to be a minion. So
yeah.
Well,
wait,
to see.
Is Lillian Voss spells only? It is, isn't it?
Yes. Oh. Yep. All right. Next up, we got Shaman. We got 5 cards. Some crazy stuff to talk
I've
about.
never seen Zap.
So
I like the fact.
so
Is it
Zap.
the only card that has an exclamation point? No, there's the one with charge that has the exclamation point. This is like the second one they've ever put an exclamation point in. I like that.
So this is a 0-mana spell. Deal 2 damage to a minion. Overload 1.
That seems really good.
Yeah, seems good. And unconditional backstab.
Yeah.
That overloads you for 1, but that seems okay. Especially if you're playing a deck that cares about overload, then it's a good thing. So yeah, seems solid.
Solid card.
Got Ghostlight Angler, 2-mana 2/2 Murloc with Echo. I haven't tried Murloc Shaman. I don't think I have the quest. I wonder if this makes the quest okay.
I never played that deck. I never had the quest, but I won against it like 90% of the time. The whole thing about that is it's just aggro shaman. That's all it is. It's the same thing as Murloc Paladin. If you can deal with waves of minions, then you can also deal with the last wave of minions they do. I don't. I think this card is a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I would run this in the quest just because I think the quest is bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the quest reward has just been deemed to be not powerful enough for it to be worth building a deck around.
Yeah, it's really not. But this has a lot of synergies with other things that shamans can do. It's a lot better than those other cards in many of the cases. So I think this is solid. It's got Bloodlust energy. It's got Evolve synergy. It's got Hagatha synergy.
It's a good token generator, right?
It's a good token generator. And 2/2s for 2, fair price. Just good card.
Oh man, you could play out 4 of these in Wild and then do an Evolve.
You do 2 Evolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Board full of 4/4s.
Yeah, it seems pretty nasty.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Blazing Invocation, 1-mana spell. Discover a Battlecry minion. I like it just because I like these kinds of spells.
Yeah, it's about time Shaman had one. Well, they have
a lot of good Battlecries.
And Finders Keepers was terrible.
Yeah, but this can get you a lot of good stuff like Grumble. Can get you Calamos, like all kinds of good stuff. So I like it.
I think I would run this in an Elemental Shaman just because that already has so much potential. But I'm not sure if I would run it in other decks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like some of the other Discover cards we've seen, where if you figure out like, oh, okay, there's a certain pool where, if I put 2 of these in, I can get potentially 2 more copies of this awesome legendary. Like, you'll probably run them just for that ability if the pool is narrow enough, I guess, in Standard especially.
Yeah, like how all the Control Warlocks run the Discover a Taunt minion so they can get more Void Lords.
Yeah.
So.
All right, then we've got Earthen Might, 2-mana spell. Give a minion +2/+2. If it's an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand.
I don't really like watching Day 9 do card things because when he's on stream, he never says, like, this is good or this is bad. Sometimes he'll say it's good if he really thinks it's good, but if he doesn't know or if he thinks it's bad, he goes, oh, that's really interesting. And he did that with this card, too. And it's just like, dude, just say it. Just say, this isn't a very good card. Like, bro knows some of the cards aren't good. And I'm not saying this card in particular, but I'm just saying he does that a lot. And it really annoys me, like, how insincere he gets with some of the cards. Oh, that's interesting. So,
I like this card because it fits in an elemental deck and doesn't have the elemental condition.
Yeah, I think it's a good tempo play. Like, imagine dropping Flame Elemental on turn 1, then playing this on turn 2.
Yeah.
So you got a turn 2, 3, 4, and you got another card. That's really, really, really powerful.
Well, 2 cards, I guess, if you generate
Oh yeah.
the other elemental. But yeah, like it doesn't say give a minion +2/+2. If you played an elemental last turn, add a random elemental to your hand. Like it's nope, doesn't matter. As long as you've got an elemental, you played it on elemental, you get a random elemental in your hand, and Shaman has some good elementals.
Oh, dude, this
So
is gonna be the new totem golem. You know that, right? That's gonna be the new totem golem. Turn 2, 3, 4.
yep,
It's going to be really annoying.
yeah. I think this is good if elemental shaman is good, or
And there's
even
no
just
overlook on
aggressive.
it too.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's pretty busted.
Seems pretty legit. All right, and then the final crazy shaman card is the other shaman legendary,
You know what this is,
Shudderwalk.
right?
It's a Jabberwock.
Yeah, it's a Jabberwock.
Yeah, Shudderwalk. 9 mana, 6/6. Battle Cry. Repeat all other battle cries from cards you played this game. Targets chosen randomly. But the big thing that they showed on stream to know about is that the battle cries activate as if they're coming from the Shudderwalk. So they showed with Serenite Chain Gang, the battle cry on that is summon a copy of this minion. So if Shudderwalk copies that battle cry, it's coming from him. So it summons a copy of him, not a copy of the minion that cast that. So there's some like synergy, anti-synergy there. Like if you wanted a bunch of Serenite Chain Gangs, this card is not going to get them because it doesn't work like that. But if you wanted a bunch of Shudderwalks, then this card will do the job. So I think that because of that, this is going to make you really evaluate the battle cry and like how it's worded and like what's going to change. And I think this is going to create some pretty interesting deck building questions for you to answer. And then there's got to be some kind of insane broken bullshit that this card can do.
Yeah. My first thought is like when you're talking synergy, anti-synergy, with Grumble, there's a lot of synergy, anti-synergy going on. Grumble's good, but the thing about it is, this card is going to take everything else off the board, and you might not want that late game. You might want to keep the other stuff on the board, and since this is 9 mana, you're only going to be able to play one more thing. If you've used something like Serenite Chain Gang to make multiple copies, then you're going to have multiple copies of this card that you can't play because they'll just keep knocking everything else off the board. And that could be seriously problematic. It'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to make 2 or 3 copies of myself. Okay, they're all back in your hand. That would be pretty bad. But I think there's serious potential, especially with elemental stuff again.
Yeah.
If I'm, or what you could do, no, that'd be weird. But like like if you had Calamos, I don't know if it would choose the invocation randomly or if it would do the one that you had picked. But if it's the one you had picked, you could completely clear your opponent's board like every time.
I think it's gonna be random.
Okay, well if it's random, I mean they're all still really good. So if you could do Murmuring Elemental. If you dropped the price of Murmuring Elemental and then you played Shudderwalk, that would probably clear your opponent's board every single time. And it's not hard to drop the price of Murmuring Elemental. It would just start like shooting fireballs from all your Flame Elementals, Blaze Collars, and Glacial Shards, and just like kill everything as long as it didn't kill itself. And I'm sure there's a card. I can't think of which one. Oh, there's so many cards you could play that never get played.
There's a lot of good. It's a lot of questions for deck building that this card's going to present. So
Wicked Skeleton. You could even play Wicked Skeleton, and it would kill all the other minions on the board, and then it would buff itself up. That'd be crazy. And maybe, I don't know. Yeah, this card seems fun. This is this is a deck building card, isn't it? It's gonna be fun.
It is.
You could do Cold Light Oracle. You could completely clear out your hand and have played some Cold Light Oracles, and you could just mill the hell out of them. Um, yeah, there's all kinds of terrible, terrible, awful, terrible, great things you could do with this card.
Yeah. Uh, sorry, I went off screen for a minute. My rabbit came up and like
It's fine. I was ranting.
jumped up
Yeah,
on my leg and was like, "Hey, what's up?"
this card's stupid.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
Warlock.
really glad though that Shaman's getting something so powerful.
Yeah. I'm really glad that Warlock keeps getting good shit.
Yeah, go Warlock. Go
Fuck.
Priest can like go down to the Thunderdome and fuck each other.
Five cards for Warlock. First one up is the Witchwood Imp, a 1 mana
More art.
1/1 demon.
What's up with all the cool art?
Stealth. Death Rattle. Give a random friendly minion +2 health.
Seems really good.
Yeah, probably good in Zoo.
Yeah, probably good in Zoo. The only problem is it's a 1 mana card that you don't really want to play on turn one, but since it's got stealth, I mean they probably can't interact with it. They're not going to use an AoE just to kill a 1/1, probably.
Definitely seems
So
bad for Gul'dan or any of the current Q blocky type archetypes, so may not see play for a while.
no, actually I think you're right. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. You drop one of these. It just has to compete with all the other really powerful 1/1s or 1 mana minions they have.
Cobalt Librarian.
Cobalt Librarian.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know that it'll see play anytime
Malthazar's
soon.
Imp Wild.
But it seems okay.
Yeah, I think it'll see play in Zoo.
Next, we got a spell, Fiendish Circle. It's a 4 mana spell. Summon 4 1/1 imps.
This is actually kind of weak.
Yeah, we've seen some stuff like this before, and it just never really saw play.
Shaman had a card like this, but it synergized with Evolve.
Well, there was the tentacle thing.
Yeah, there was
Too.
the tentacle thing.
They weren't demons, right? So there was no demon synergy, but I just don't know that there's a lot of power in summoning 4 1/1 imps. Although there are a few cards, like
Crystal Weaver.
the councilman,
Yeah, Councilman, Crystal Weaver.
stuff like that, where you want to summon things, or
But people don't usually. They still don't usually play the summoning cards though.
now they play something else like a Serenite Chain Gang, where it's like a good card by itself and summons two things, so it buffs things. So yeah, I don't think this card is super good.
And I think there are way better options for approximate price and Wild. Of course, there's Implosion, which is way better than this card is. And one of a card I actually like a lot is Feeding Time, which works really similar to this, but is better and costs one more.
Yeah.
So
I don't think this card's very good. All right, then we've got Dark Possession, 1 mana spell, deal 2 damage to a friendly character, discover a demon. What? You can kill off your possessed lackey and find a new demon while you're at it? That goes into your hand?
Whoa.
Well,
I could pick like a Void Walker, but why would I do that when I could pick a Void Lord?
All right, let's just get off this card. Let's go to the next one. Curse of Weakness. Another 2 mana spell. Echo. Give all enemy minions -2 attack until your next turn.
This is I like this card because I've never seen a card like this before that has like such a lasting effect.
Yeah, until your next turn, I think, is what makes this card interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And there are some potential synergies with a few of like the Mossy Horror or whatever. You could.
Oh, yeah, that's a good combo. But I mean, I don't think Warlock needs any more. We're gonna clear all your board stuff.
But it does make it so that potentially your opponent can't clear any of your stuff.
Yeah, or you can just get a bunch of value trades with your Void Lord. I think it's a really strong card. I don't think Warlock needs any more really strong cards, but
Yeah, I don't know that it'll see play now, but maybe in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly when they would use that card. I guess maybe like if they were playing Zoo and they just didn't want you to clear their board, they
Yeah.
would do that if they were behind or something.
All right, here we go. Ratcatcher. It's a 3 mana 2/2 rush. Battle cry. Destroy a friendly minion and gain its attack and health.
Seems good.
Yeah. So you could destroy your possessed lackey and have a 4/4 rush on the board. Or destroy
Well,
your cube and get a 6/8 rush.
yeah. Or you could destroy, yeah, or you could play it on turn 3 and destroy your 2/4 and have a 4/6 on turn 3 with rush that just clears your opponent's board. So yeah, that seems really strong.
Yeah. I love how unhappy we are.
Yeah.
It's like, man, in a different day, I would be like, yeah, these are cool. This is sweet. All right, cool. Yeah. Now I'm just like, no, why?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like Q Block is such a figured out deck. I don't know if there's room for new cards in it.
Right.
So, like,
But they're
I might make a
losing
deck
some
just
stuff
of
in the rotation.
fun cards.
They are losing some stuff in the rotation. Not a lot.
They're losing Mistress of Mixtures, and that might be it.
Now there's something else. It's like 2 to 4 cards they're losing. Definitely Mistress of Mixtures, but there's something else in there. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's Warlock. Just more good stuff. And Warrior, we've only got one card here. The Rabid Worgen. 3 mana 3/3 with Rush.
Seems good.
I think it seems okay. I feel like a lot of times it's going to be a 1-for-1, and that's all right.
I really like a card I use a lot, but that doesn't see play is the 3 mana 4/4, where you don't get to pick its attacks.
Yeah.
This is like a better version of that because you're getting tempo on the turn that you play it, and you get to control what it does. So I think it's a solid card. Since Ravaging Ghoul is going out, I think this is going to be the new go-to replacement, unless they start running Fiery War Axe again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's decent. I think it has a just about an equal chance of seeing play or not being quite strong enough.
I think it's I think it's basically a better version of Fiery War Axe. I mean, it can't go face. Okay, so I guess it's about even.
Yeah.
About even with Fiery War Axe.
All right. Let's hop into the neutral minions. We've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Can we talk about this
20,
walnut?
23. Well, we did that. Didn't we do the Witchwood Grizzly already?
Yes.
Okay. Then, yeah. There's the walnut.
This walnut. The weird thing is, like, when I try to picture in my head, okay, so this is a walnut. This is a walnut that's out in the woods, got a walking stick. It's a 3/3. So you're telling me that a swashbuckler, that a pirate with a sword can't beat up a fucking walnut. Like, just that idea is really weird to me. Or okay,
Oh, look, he's got a little, what is that, an acorn?
I guess. So an SI7 agent, so like an assassin, is going to throw down with a walnut, and it's going to be a draw. Like, what? But yeah, I think this is a pretty well-rounded minion.
I
Pretty
think
solid.
I think it's nice for an echo card, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel bad about dropping a 3 mana 3/3.
No, you don't.
You don't feel great, but you're not like, ah, crap, I had to play it because it's the only card I had, and that feels awful. It's just like, oh, okay, do what I gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in Wild you'll probably run Doppelgangster instead. It's kind of a better version.
Yeah.
So
All right. We got Unpowered Steambot, 4 mana, 0/9 mech with Taunt.
Count. Well, as we saw, this is an insane card with Lady in White.
Yep.
So that's a thing.
It's also not a bad target for the old school warrior mech card that buffs another mech.
Or it's just a good inner fire target. Yeah, I could see this seeing play in a lot of priest decks. Or I don't really know what you're talking about with the warrior thing, but
Let me see.
just a 0/9 taunt, something that beefy. But then again, they have that, what is it, 2 mana 0/7 that never saw play.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a warrior deck that's just cards like Rampage and Inner Rage and just have a bunch of these giant minions that have no attack and just make them super duper strong.
This guy.
Screwjank Planker.
4 mana, 2/5 mech, gives a friendly mech +2/+2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Combos, man, combos. I don't think you would play that, but all right. We got the Tanglefur Mystic, 3 mana, 3/4, so Spider Tank. Battle Cry, add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand. So
I like it. I really liked, what is it? Spellslinger?
yeah.
Yeah, I really like Spellslinger, so I will play this card. And it's also a solid body.
And you get the potential to use the 2-cost minion before your opponent, so that doesn't seem too bad either.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like, if you're playing it on turn 3, your opponent's probably not going to take a tempo hit to play a 2-cost minion, unless they have 2-cost minions in their hand on turn 4. Right. So they probably won't be able to use it anyway. So, yeah, it's a good card, I think. Okay. Swamp Leech.
Yep. This is a 1 mana 2/1 beast with lifesteal. Pretty boring, I think.
Yeah, I would say that you could put it in a beast deck, but after we saw that other card that Beast is getting, did we not go over beasts? Did we not talk about the new hunter cards?
Yeah, we did.
What about the one through with Rush and Lifesteal? Did we talk about that card at all?
That's not a hunter card.
Oh, it's not?
It's a neutral.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
But yeah, I think this is good for the hunter DK. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh, you mean for the quest?
No. As for Build-A-Beast.
Oh, for Build-A-Beast. Yeah, it is really good because I hate having to do a Bloodworm and then I'm like, oh, I need some Lifesteal. Okay, well, here's a 9 mana minion that I have to wait until next turn to play because I had to put a 5 mana Lifesteal card in there. Yep. That was always really frustrating. So having something like this where I can pair it up with either a Rush or Stone Tusk Boar just to get 3 healing.
Oh, this with that spider. Lifesteal Rush Poison.
Yeah.
3/4 for 6 mana.
6? It's a little expensive.
Yeah.
No, I would probably do something like this with. No, I guess it couldn't be the boar. I like doing some minions with the 2 mana 4/1.
If you have the Houndmaster and the Toxmonger down.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good. But I don't think this card will really see play.
No, I don't know why we talked about it so much.
Yeah, the other one, the other card, the 2 mana card's a better version.
All right, we got Sandbinder, 4 mana 2/4 Battle Cry, draw an elemental from your deck. I think that the Battle Cry is pretty good. I think that the stat line is pretty bad, and I feel like in an elemental deck, you want to include as few non-elemental minions as you can. So I don't think this card's great.
No, the only way I could see you using this card is in maybe like either a mage deck or a shaman deck where you like maybe if you're playing shaman and the only shaman
Right.
card you or elemental card you want is Grumble
Or you're in
for silver.
wild, and this is a guaranteed get your Ragnaros kind of a
Yeah.
card. Yeah.
So it's for like I have one elemental in my deck and I really want it. So
Yep. Night Prowler, 4 mana 3/3 beast. If this is the only minion in the battlefield, gain +3/+3. So potentially a 4 mana 6/6 beast that does nothing.
yeah, this seems okay. It's good. Like I could nah. I don't think it's that good though. Because my first thought is you could put it in like priest with like wild priest with dragonfire potion and be like, here, I did this and then I did this. But dragonfire doesn't necessarily clear everything, and you can always play arcane tyrant with the dragonfire. I guess you could play both. But the arcane tyrant seems better. 0 mana 4/4 than 3 mana 6/6. So it's okay.
Yeah, I think it won't see play. I think the reason the other guy saw play is because Divine Shield and Taunt is a hell of a lot better on an empty board than a 6/6
Oh, yeah, the 3 mana. What's his name?
lone
Love
champion.
Champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Marsh Drake, 3 mana 5/4 dragon. Battlecry, summon a 2/1 poisonous Drake Slayer for your opponent. So I have a very specific comment for this card, but I'll let you go ahead.
This seems really solid. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't play this card if you're playing a tempo-oriented deck, especially if you're running like I don't know, pirate warrior or something where you're going to have a weapon equipped all the time. Then that 2/1 is basically non-existent.
Yeah.
So this seems awesome.
So I think this is finally a minion I might put into my Recruit Druid.
Yeah.
Because unlike Hungry Dragon, I know what comes out of this thing every time if I have to play it from hand. And I normally, if I have to play Hungry Dragon from hand, I try to wait until I know I can get rid of the minion if it's particularly bad, either with my hero power or a Wrath or something like that. And with this thing, not only is it cheaper to play from hand, but I know it's always going to be a 2/1 that I can remove with my hero power, and that seems okay. The Hungry Dragon has a little bit more health, but it's the same attack stat line, so yeah, I think this is overall a better option
Yeah.
for that sort of recruit druid that I've been playing.
You could just throw in like a copy or two of Moonfire if you wanted to and just be like turn 3 this Moonfire, just mulligan for those. If you get it, that's probably going to be just about game.
Yeah, so I think this is finally a good good card to include in that. So, and it's also not a beast. So if I did want to use Witching Hour, this doesn't screw with it too much. So, all right, Mad Hatter, 4 mana 3/2 Battlecry. Randomly toss 3 hats to other minions. Each hat gives +1/+1. So horrible stats, but effectively puts he's got +1/+1 or +3/+3 of initiative, essentially. Not bad. I don't know. Do you think this? I don't think this will actually see play.
Yeah, I do. Basically, if you're playing like Token Druid or something,
You can
and you're just
Witchwood apple, and then the next turn, if it's turn 10, play all your Witchwood apples, and then your Mad Hatter, and there you go. You got some 3/3s on the board.
so if you're playing Token Druid and you're basically with a token deck, you just keep control of the board the entire game, just keep buffing your stuff. If you have the board on turn 3, turn 4, you're just going to clear off all your opponent's minions, then drop this, and then you're going to get 3/3 more on the minions you already have. That's awesome. So, like, it's a little bit more random than Fungalmancer, but Fungalmancer sees a ton of play in those kind of decks, and this is cheaper, so and it has better stats.
So if you just have one minion, does it get all 3 hats? Because that seems pretty good.
It
In
does.
arena, especially.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem too bad in arena. Drop this guy, and whatever you have on the board gets +3/+3.
Yeah, it's like a crappy bone mare that costs half as much.
Or it's like a King's Blessing of Kings almost. Better than
Yeah.
Blessing of Kings.
So potentially it is a really good card, but you'd have to keep board control. Like you'd have to be playing a super tempo deck. Be really good in Rogue where you can like backstab and dagger minions down, and then just keep control of the board, drop this on turn 4, and win the game. So yeah, I think this will see play.
All right, Lost Spirit, 2 mana 1/1, Death Rattle. Give your minions +1 attack.
I don't know. It seems okay, but that 3 mana 2/2 that gave all of your other minions +1/+1 never saw any play. I would think the idea of this is that you kill it yourself. But it's a little bit expensive. You can't just drop it like a token. But synergizes with Warrior and Warlock, so it might.
Yeah, I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, might not be. But I can just see though, like if you were playing Warlock in Wild and you had Zoth and you had played this at some point in time, you get a huge wall of taunts and void walkers and stuff, and then you kill this, and now all your void walkers have 2/3. It's pretty good. But yeah, I think you're right. It probably won't see play.
Yeah. Still, yeah, too weak.
2 weeks.
Life Drinker, 4 mana 3/3 beast. Battle cry,
Sure.
deal 3 damage to the enemy hero, restore 3 health to your hero.
That seems really good.
I think this will see play. Like,
Yeah, this will see play.
yeah, it's basically, 2 mana for a 3/3 and 2 mana for a Gul'dan Death Knight hero power that only targets your opponent's face. And I mean, would you pay 2 to do that to your opponent's face and then 2 to drop a 3/3? I think so.
That sounds like a weird sexual thing you just said, but what I can really see this synergizing with is that one hunter card. What is it? That gives +3/+3 to a minion.
Oh yeah.
Because you're always going face with hunter anyways. You do this, you're getting more face damage in, and then every time you draw one of those things, you're doing 3 more damage and getting a 6/6 on the board. So that seems pretty awesome.
Ah, dude, heal it in. You do damage to their face and heal your own face, triggering your synergies and pushing through some damage.
Yeah, you could do that. I feel like the big thing about heal it in though is that you're trying to keep board control, and this isn't a very good card for that.
Yeah, but it could be, depending on your board state. I don't know. It's weird. I also think this artwork is weirdly realistic for Hearthstone.
Yeah, you were talking about some of the artwork before, and it does seem like they're moving in that direction. The early cards were very cartoony, but like last expansion when they released the Warlock card, the 2 mana 2/4 with taunt, I was like, this is a demon that looks like somebody tried to draw what a demon would look like in real life.
Right. It's creepier.
Yeah, there's creepiness about it. And it does, or have you ever seen, I think I talked about this before, like the Pokemon, if they were real creatures in real life? They're starting to move in that direction where the cards are getting creepier and creepier and more realistic. So it's kind of cool, kind of creepy.
All right. Next up, we got the Hinch Clan Thug. 3 mana 3/3. After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1.
Seems bad.
3 mana 4/4 in Rogue. If you hero powered on turn 2.
It's conditional. I mean, I guess 3 mana 3/3 by itself isn't bad, but it reminds me of what is it? Backroom Bouncer, 4 mana 4/4 that gets +1 health. I guess this is a little bit better, but Backroom Bouncer never saw play. So, but the thing about it is, you can only proc this once per turn, unless you're playing Doomhammer. So, maybe maybe it'll see play in a weapon deck, but I kind of doubt it because pirates are better. I would rather have a 6/3 that I drop and like for 2 mana than a 3/3 that's going to get 1 mana or one stronger every time I attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think pirates are just better. Is all I'm saying.
I was just thinking, like, what if I recruited this out and I, you know, hero powered and druid, get a little armor, get a little health, put a little buff on this guy.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
that's okay.
Maybe, maybe not. All right, Furious Etten, 7 mana, 5/9 taunt. Okay.
That seems way better than Giant Mastodon. 9 mana, 6/10, 7 mana, 5/9. That's pretty awesome. I don't think it's going to see constructive play, but I will pick this almost every time in Arena.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Fell Soul Inquisitor, 4 mana, 1/6 demon with lifesteal and taunt.
Is this the first neutral demon?
No.
It's not?
That 2/2 buff guy from Kobolds.
Oh, I think Void Terror, whatever it's called, is also a demon.
Void Ripper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like this for a totally different kind of Gul'dan. Like I told you, I used the 2 mana 1/4 that has lifesteal, and you can slam some nice buffs onto that thing, and it's pretty sick. This has lifesteal, but also has taunt.
Yeah. So this could be really good. It could even be good in Zoo because a lot of times you don't want them to trade with your smaller, like your 3/2s and your 2/1s. You throw this down on turn 4 and they can't, and you're healing yourself. So that seems really powerful. And then you can just start buffing it with Blood Fury Potion or Demon Fire. I think it's actually pretty solid. Or you could throw it in Ladium White Priest, and then have a 4 mana 6/6 with taunt and lifesteal. It's also pretty awesome.
I would really like to recruit this out if I could somehow buff its attack. Like, it's so garbage for recruit because the attack's so low, but man, if you could buff it reliably, that'd be pretty sick. Like, just cheat it out, like Ogun summons, and then buff this thing.
I'm sure I'm sure there's some sort of minion that you can play, like I don't know. There was that one minion that they nerfed that used to give a permanent buff. You play Wild, you could do Lance Carrier on it.
Or just swap its health and attack.
Yeah, but then you got a 6/1 with taunt, which is kind of terrible.
Yeah. All right. Deranged Doctor, 8 mana, 8/8, Death Rattle, restore 8 health to your hero.
I like the art.
Mm-hmm. I think in Wild you just play Healbot. Cheaper, does same healing. But standard?
I think this would be cool in some sort of I think this would be good for the quest, the priest quest, because a lot of that deck is based around staying alive until you can get a Mara and then just kind of outlasting your opponent. You play this, then you drop Zoth in Wild, and you already have 40 health total, so the possibility of getting another 8 health is pretty awesome. So
is this good enough for standard? I mean, you've got an 8/8 on the board, right? So it's like a giant, right? In stats, and anytime a giant's on the board, you're like, shit, I need to get rid of that giant. But at the same, I mean, I know they're played because you can cheat out the mana cost, but if this does come down on the board, it's not an 8/8 that does. It kind of is an 8/8 that does nothing, but if your opponent does want to get rid of it, then they have to heal you for 8, basically, to do it.
Well, I think the big problem with this is that there isn't enough synergy without Zoth. I think pulling this out with Zoth is really good, but the odds of you being able to play this on a clear board is pretty bad. And on turn 8, you don't want to just play an 8/8 that does nothing. So unless you could somehow clear the board for like nothing and then play this. So maybe if you were playing a tempo deck where you have minions on board already and then you play this, but then it's like, do you really need to heal 8? But I could see you synergizing it with maybe Dollmaster Dorian or something like that.
Okay. Like Death Rattle Rogue.
Yeah, I mostly see applications in Wild, though, with Zoth.
Yeah. Dark Mire Moonkin. 7 mana, 2/8, spell damage +2.
This is actually pretty good, I think. I don't think it'll see a ton of play because Malagos is mostly better. But if you just wanted to play like a spell damage deck and you didn't want to have to just rely on Malagos, if you wanted kind of like secondary win conditions, you could have a couple of these guys in there.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
I just don't know that spell damage +2 is worth 7 mana.
No, but it's also one of the only spell damage +2 minions, and it's also one of the only spell damage minions that isn't easily removed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if like you'd rather just have the cheap spell damage for like a combo, or if you're playing a deck where you're like, yeah, by turn 7 I want to drop this guy and he's going to live a few turns so I can get some real value off these spells.
I think it's okay, but I don't think it'll see play.
Yeah.
The only way it could see... Nah, I won't see play.
Yeah. Chief Inspector, 5 mana, 4/6, Battlecry, destroy all enemy secrets.
Yeah! Thank goodness. I was really worried with Eater of Secrets leaving that we were all just going to die.
I was really excited. I was like, oh, hey, we could play secret decks again. But Eater of Secrets didn't really see too much play except for when Mysterious Challenger was running rampant everywhere.
Well, Eater of Secrets does see play when secrets start to get abused. Like, when you are queuing into like 50% of the decks and they have secrets, then Eater of Secrets is really kind of necessary.
I like that this guy doesn't get a ridiculous buff from destroying secrets.
Well, Eater of Secrets was so weak, though. It was a 2/4.
Yeah, but at least this guy, when he drops, you know what you're dealing with. It's not like, oh, I spent all this time getting 6 secrets out or 5 secrets out or whatever, and now not only are they destroyed, but they just buff the crap out of this minion on top of that. So I feel like Eater of Secrets was a much more frustrating punish than this guy is.
I guess it was frustrating, but it's also like, hey, that person actually runs Eater of Secrets in their deck, so I guess I kind of deserve losing this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this card is statted fairly well for what it does, so it's nice to have around if secrets get out of hand.
Yeah. I don't really care about the card itself. I just think this is a card that every like cycle needs. Did your rabbit fart or something?
No, my the numbing from my root canal is starting to wear off, so I'm getting some pain coming through.
Gotta pop it. Gotta pop one of them pills.
Okay, let's keep going. Cauldron Elemental, 8 mana, 7/7 elemental. So redundant. Your other elementals have +2 attack. So it's like a Stormwind champion for elementals that cost more and doesn't buff them for both stat. I don't know. It seems bad.
You don't like it?
No. No.
When you compare it to Stormwind, that is a pretty good point.
Like he's what? Is he a 6 mana 6/6 or a 7 mana 6/6? He's a 7 mana 6/6. And he does the buff to both stats, which I think is a little more valuable than the attack.
Yeah, I guess this won't see play. I was thinking of it like maybe as a win condition for Shaman.
If you
You
wanted
know?
this, like, as a win condition for Shaman, just play Bloodlust, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're dropping this guy with the intention of finishing off your opponent with the +2 attack, he doesn't get to do anything anyway. So why not just play Bloodlust?
Yeah, that's true. And he does come in too late game. If he was like a 5 mana, like 3/3 that gave your other elementals +2 attack, then he'd be awesome. But he's way too expensive to actually see play.
Yeah. We got the Worm Guard, 7 mana, 3/11. Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt.
Seems good.
Seems like a card that priests can abuse.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably will. They'll probably play it with Inner Fire Lady. And yeah, but I'm just thinking about like the Tar Lords and stuff. They didn't really see that much play. I
No,
can definitely
just
see it.
just Tar Creeper, and that's because he's just a great card on curve for playing defense. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I mean, Warrior has the not Warrior, Warlock. Is it Warlock that has the like 4?
1/7, I think.
Yeah, and Warrior has a 5/11 on your opponent's turn or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So yeah, so this is like the same thing, but this is more easily abused by a priest.
Is
So
there a dragon deck that you play where you would want to have this really big taunt up to protect other dragons on the board? Because I feel like a lot of the dragon synergies are in their battle cries, not in them doing crazy stuff on the board necessarily.
I don't think so, but one of the things I was thinking about in Wild, a deck you could really easily abuse. So you do Lady in White and Scaled Nightmare.
Hmm.
That would be a really annoying priest deck to play against because you get one turn. If you don't kill Scaled Nightmare, you just lose.
Yeah.
And this would go along with that kind of deck. So you could play this and then play Scaled Nightmare, and then you just win. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that could be. I could see that. Swamp Dragon Egg. 1 mana, 0/3. Death Rattle. Add a random dragon to your hand. I like it.
I do. The eggs never see play, but I'd like for them to. The thing about eggs is there's no good way of dealing with an egg. You don't want to silence an egg, you don't want to kill an egg, and you can't use AoE because then you're triggering the egg. So I could see just, if I get into a situation where there are a ton of control decks, and I'm like, fuck you, control decks. Here, I'm just going to play a bunch of eggs. Blow up my board. I dare you. Then just being able to outvalue them would be pretty awesome.
I just got a weird idea. I'm gonna try it. It's gonna be horrible, but I'm gonna try it just
Inner
because.
Fire Egg Priest.
No, no. An egg recruit druid.
Egg Crute.
Egg recruit. Like
Egg.
you recruit eggs out of your deck, and then you have ways to buff them. And then if your opponent deals with them, you just generate value like this. You get random dragons, and you're ramping anyway. It's going to be stupid and dumb and a horrible deck, but I want to try it because I think the premise is funny. Like, egg hatching druid.
Yeah. I don't think it'll see play, but it does look like it'd be fun to mess with.
Yeah, definitely fun card for people like myself who like to try the high roll decks and are okay with low rolling.
Yeah, I think Bone Drake's just a better card.
Yeah. All right, and then this is the one you were talking about, the Vicious Scale Hide, 2 mana 1/3 beast with lifesteal and rush. Great for Build a Beast.
Great for Build-A-Beast, and we saw when he put that the 3+3+3 shuffle 3 copies into your deck.
Yeah, this seems like a really good target.
Yeah, that's a pretty busted combo. So you're just drawing 2 mana, 4/6s with rush and lifesteal. So
Seems a
you're
lot
just
better than Stone Tusk Boar.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, by itself, this card doesn't seem very good, but there are a ton of cards that have good interactions with this card, and I do think it will see play.
I agree. All right, Baleful Banker, 2 mana 2/2, Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, shuffle a copy of it into your deck. So I think this could probably see play, specifically because it's so cheap. The stat line is okay, and not only does it give you the ability to gain extra copies of your powerful minions, it also lets you, like, say, I'm playing Recruit Druid and I draw one of the cards that I want to be able to cheat out. I have to play it on curve. I can follow up with this guy later on, get that back into my deck so that when I do play a recruit card or a tutor card or something like that, it actually gets the value it's supposed to get. So I think that not as a minion, but just as a supporting card for decks that want to cheat things out, or just like if you want multiple copies of any of your powerful legendaries, or you want to put another Ysera in your deck or something, like, I think this is a pretty nice, efficient way to do that.
Yeah, I think this card will see a lot of play in big decks. So, like, Barnes is rotating out, so that's Big Priest probably really isn't going to be a thing in Standard that much anymore. But they do still have the 6 mana summon a 5/5. So, or you could do like if you're Barnesing for Yashiraj, you put in Barnes, Yashiraj, and then 2 copies of this guy. And then after you pull Yashiraj, you've mulliganed for Baleful Banker and Barnes. You shuffle more Yashiraj into your deck. Then your Yashiraj is pulling more Yashirajas. And, or if you wanted to do a singleton deck, you wanted to do Raza in Wild, you play Baleful Banker. After you play Raza, you can get another Raza later on. Yeah, any sort of recruit or singleton deck, it would be awesome with this. So I think this is going to be a staple card. It's going to be like that. And, it's going to be one of those cards where it's used for very specific combos. You're not just going to shuffle, put this in random decks.
Right.
But for specifically pulling something or putting something into your deck, it's awesome. Because I think up until now, the only card that could do this was the Rogue card, Gang Up.
Yeah, or sort of Madame Goya. Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. Madame Goya didn't see play, but I could see this being played because
this copy. It's a 2 mana. Like, that's the other thing. A 2 mana 2/2 that has a good effect. Those see play. I mean, we saw Zombie. I can't think of the name. The Secret. The 2 mana 2/2, play a secret from your deck. Like, that has seen play. The 2 mana 2/2 in Rogue, Death Rattle. Give Undercity Huckster, that one. Shield and Minibot, 2 mana 2/2 with Divine Shield. Like, 2 mana 2/2s that have a good effect, have a tendency to see play. The Murloc, discover a secret. Like, so I think there's a good chance this guy will find a home somewhere. And I think this is the last card. Yep. The Witchwood Piper, 4 mana 3/3, Battlecry, draw the lowest cost minion from your deck.
Another one of those cards.
Yeah.
I could see this seeing a lot of play in Mage, in Control Mage, and you really want those 1 mana 1/2 elementals that give you armor. So you put a couple of these in there and those guys, and you're like, oh, I really need armor right now. Play one of these, grab one of those guys, and so now you're set up for turn 6 Blizzard, all that fun stuff.
Or if the lowest cost minion in your deck is a Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, stat line's not really that good, but
it's a 4 mana 3/3 draw card.
Yeah.
Like,
and
so they had to I mean, Azure Drake, 4 mana, 4/4, spell damage, draw a card. Like, they had to send that thing to the Hall of Fame because it was super overpowered, the combination of all those things. So I feel like this is about on the power level where they would want, a 4 mana card with the extra effect to be. A 4
Yeah,
mana
and it's a
3/3.
specific card you're drawing,
Yeah.
so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think
So
this has some potential.
yeah, I think so too. It'll take some creative people to figure out how, but I do think it does.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all the cards that we've gone over. As far as I know, I think we'll be back on Friday, starting our actual smart moves, like the stuff that we do. Well, not really. Not that stream. We'll be talking about the cards that we're playing, maybe some decks that we've been messing around with, and choosing our class for the following week, where we'll actually get into the Smart Moves deck showcases, which are the things that we started this whole thing to do. But I know that leading into that, we did want to kind of talk a little bit about our class impressions and maybe a deck or idea or two that has popped into our head. So you want to kick that off?
No, go ahead.
All right. So just looking at Druid, my overall opinion, like, I'm not too excited about the new kind of archetype that's coming out for Druid, this the hand Druid thing. I think I'm definitely going to keep working on my recruit Druid and just try to see if I can get that to work any better. Maybe with Witching Hour and a couple like the dragon that we saw. So nothing for me really on Druid. I'm going to keep working on recruit Druid that I played during KNC. So any big druidy thoughts? Are you going to try hand Druid, or do you like that archetype? Or
I don't like doing archetypes really like here's the archetype. So probably not. And these cards are all very neutral to me. Like, there's nothing that, like, maybe Splintergraft I could see doing some cool stuff with, but not really in standard.
what about Quest Druid with Splintergraft in it? Would the 10 mana 10/10 that cost 10 still cost 10?
It's in your hand, so yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Uh, no, like, the only big synergy that I really came up with was Coon, and that's rotating. So I'm not really excited for Druid. I might stop playing Druid. I don't really think the quest will be that good without Coon, because Coon was a big part of finishing the quest or getting the quest off.
Yeah, okay. Well, Hunter then.
Hunter. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm just getting bored with Spell Hunter. I don't think Spell Hunter is bad or anything, or it's not fun to play, but I'm just getting bored with it. I'd like to move back to a more minion-based Hunter, and I like that they're doing a Control Hunter theme. So I think I'm going to make a kind of a slower tempo-based Hunter deck, control-y Hunter. That seems like a lot of fun to me.
I'm interested in that as well. I think, particularly for me, these three cards here, Carrion Drake, Dire Frenzy, and Rat Trap, and Wing Blast too, I guess, have kind of caught my eye. And, I don't know if they probably don't all make sense in a deck together, but there's enough interesting stuff that popped up in Hunter that I do think I want to give it a try, but I don't have any particular ideas. I was working on a Beast Recruit Hunter, but I don't have any of that. I have one Hunter Legendary, so that's kind of out the window. They didn't add any big Hunter Beast or anything like that this time around, so
I don't really know about the draw aspect because they still haven't included any draw. So Dire Frenzy, like, that's a card I'm excited about, but how am I supposed to use it?
Right.
But Yeah, making a slower, more tempo-y kind of hunter. That seems fun. And then I guess maybe using Katharina as a sort of a form of draw.
Yeah.
So
All right, mage.
I'm pretty excited for Mage, I think. Uh, their cards, they're really powerful. This Zoo Mage archetype, I don't think I'm going to be the first person to come up with it, but I might try it just because I came up with it to me.
Right.
So I might try that. I always liked Elemental Mage. I like slower, controllier decks, but I am kind of sad there's not as much RNG. Like I know like RNG is the bane of people's existence or whatever, but it does make the games a little bit more, you know, fun a
Yeah, I
lot of
think
it.
this is the second expansion where I'm just kind of like, I don't
You're not
know.
excited for it?
I think Curio Collector might fit well into a Deck of Wonders deck.
Yeah,
Since you
definitely.
draw a card and it's a scroll and it casts a spell and draws another card, and but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Paladin.
Yes, I am excited about Paladin.
I'm gonna try to make Healadin work again, and that's about where I end it for Paladin. I think Glass Knight could potentially be pretty cool in that, and Paragon of Light could be pretty neat as well. So
I think I'm going to do Quest Spell Paladin. That's kind of an archetype that I'd like to run with. So originally, when I started doing the quest, a lot of times I would do Arcane Giant because you already have to run a fair amount of spells, and so it would normally be free by the time I drew it.
and that
And
is rotating out in standard.
so that's pretty sad. Um, but Sound the Bells kind of offers synergies with the. Uh, hey, what's up? It does offer synergies with the whole spell paladin archetype. So maybe I'll play it with Mana Addict or something like that. So
I do want to try Sound the Bells with the legendaries that do things when you target them,
yeah, that seems
or
fun.
any of the cards that do things when you target them with a spell.
So yeah, I'll probably play some wild paladin.
Priest. If I get Lady in White, I'll try that out. Otherwise, I don't know. Uh, Nothing too crazy for Priest with me.
I think I'll do a Death Rattle wild deck
With,
with Priest and Coffin Crasher, but
mm,
it's probably about the extent of my interest with a new Priest. Or maybe I'll do Silence just because of the 5 mana 5/8.
yes. Rogue, Blink Fox, and Test Greymane. Definitely gonna try some Burgle Rogue and see what I can do with that. My Spiders Rogue wasn't that good, unfortunately. So I'll give this a shot. I don't think it'll be that good either, but that's definitely where I'm kind of leaning in terms of what I want to try out with this expansion. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that they've done a good job of not putting Rogue into a pigeonhole on this one. So I think there are several different kinds of archetypes that you can make with these cards. In play, Spectral Cutlass actually seemed really powerful. Uh,
mm,
the guy that was using it was constantly healing for 6 or 7, and I know that's how Kingsbane works, but he didn't have to get off the lifesteal on it. He was just like slowly bouncing it up, playing this or that. Get a card from your opponent's class. Every turn, he'd just play one of those cards, and then he'd have one more charge for the next turn, then one more charge for the next turn, then one more charge for the next turn, and would just keep healing himself. And like 20 or 30 turns, well, not 20 or 30 turns, but like 15 turns in, even though day 9 was keeping the board clear, the guy still had full health because he
yep.
was just healing constantly. So I'm kind of excited about Spectral Cutlass, and Blink Fox seems really solid. I might just want to make a kind of a tempo, steely rogue. because that doesn't seem too powerful because it's sort of RNG influenced, but the cards themselves are solid. I really like Base Collector. I don't think there are any of these cards that I get and I'd be like, oh, I didn't want to get that card. I think they're all just kind of okay. None of them are super busted or anything.
Yeah. All right, Shaman. I'm definitely gonna try Battlecry Elemental Shaman. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'd like to try that. I'm also
But
pretty excited.
Shudderwalk, right?
Yeah, there's Shudderwalk, so that seems really fun. I really have to get the combo off of Hagatha Bogshaper.
Right.
I have to do that at least once, where I have both of those, and then minion, then spell, then minion, then spell, then minion, then spell. That seems awesome. I've got to try to do it, and I really like that. It seems like they made it playable. Totem Cruncher aside, seems playable now. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for the direction that Shaman's gone in. Pretty solid. Definitely going to try the elemental thing. Earth and Might, I think, is going to bring in a new era of oppression with Shaman that I might try to take advantage of. So.
Yeah, and I like that there isn't a whole bunch of overload. So.
Yeah, and Zap's just an awesome overload card that I'm willing to play.
Warlock. I'm going to keep trying my version of Gul'dan that doesn't revolve around having a million Void Lords and blah, 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 but is like the lifestealy, tempo out value kind of Warlock that I've been playing. And I also always try to build the kind of Warlock where like destroying your own stuff is good. Not because you're getting Void Lords, but because you're doing other things. So I'll probably try that.
Yeah. Same. I don't really want to do the Void Lord thing. But I might try to make a deck that's just based around these cards, or I might just try to do a Glinda Crowskin specific deck that's just focused around doing cool combos with Echo.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, I'll think about it.
And Warrior. I'm going to make a deck build entirely around Deadly Arsenal. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't give us a good weapon for that, so whatever. I mentioned it before. I just got the Warrior Death Knight recently, and I definitely want to try to make a deck that synergizes off all that sort of deal damage to your own minions things with maybe the Black Owl Gunspire, Axe Flingers, stuff like that. So I'll probably be giving that a shot, going in that direction with it. So,
are you going to craft Black Owl Gunspire?
No.
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 Okay. Yeah, it seems like they've made Warrior playable again. I don't think it's necessarily tier 1, but the rush minions they have, I think, definitely give them a good shot at getting and keeping the early game. Plus, Warrior's Whirlwind abilities already are really good against Dude Paladin. So I think that Warrior has a good chance of being the Rock versus Dude Paladin Scissors. And that seems pretty solid. So I might do that just because Warrior's been getting crapped on. So I'd be happy to, play a deck that's new and fair.
Yeah. I think the only legendary that I might craft if I don't get it would be Test Greymane or maybe Shudderwalk. Just because for me, like being able to play those high RNG, high roll, those are really fun. And those are the kind of decks that I play. And a lot of times if I don't get the critical legendary that, you need for this tier 0, tier 1, tier 2 deck, I don't really care because I never rank up that high anyway. So, I tend to only craft the things that are either just look incredibly fun or I specifically am like, yeah, for this deck to be awesome that I want to play, I need this one. So, Burgle Rogue, like if you don't have the ending of Test Greymane there, then, it's kind of like, what are you doing? So I would craft that. And then same thing, Shudderwalk just seems stupidly like fun and interesting from a deck building perspective. Everything else, I'll get what I get. I mean, at this point, we get a guaranteed class legendary, plus 3 packs just for logging in. If you did the pre-order, that's 70 packs. You'll get a legendary in your first 10, and then you're guaranteed to get at least one other one from your 60 remaining packs, and that puts you really close to getting another guaranteed legendary with your next set of stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'll end up with 4 to 6 legendaries out of the cards that come out, and I'll probably just roll with those, see what I can do.
Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed. I haven't gotten a legendary lately. Probably my last like 20, 30 packs. And if they do like the automatic legendary within the first 10 packs, that's probably just going to reset my counter. So I feel like I'm kind of losing because of that.
Well, it's per set, so you'll get your class legendary, and then you're guaranteed to get that one in those first 10 packs for Witchwood.
Yeah.
So,
I guess my point is I feel like I was going to get one of those in my first 10 packs anyways. I was already at my pity counter.
Oh, but it goes, it's a set-based pity counter, not overall. Like you have a pity counter for every expansion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when I got the Mammoth bundle, I got 4 legendaries in 30 packs. So you're saying I could have been close to my timer on all 3 of those expansions?
Yep. And then you rolled and got one of them for the 4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people pay attention. Like I started doing it as well, where for each expansion I'll count up how many packs I've opened, because if I'm sitting at 39 packs or something and I haven't gotten a legendary, I know, okay, if I buy 1 pack, it's a guaranteed legendary. But if I've opened like 5 packs, I know there's potentially still 35 more packs I would have to open until I get a legendary. So it's useful. Like I just got a legendary from Ungoro, and off of one of the random quest packs, and when I did the next Ungoro pack I opened, I just put a 1. I got a little spreadsheet, put a 1, and I know, hey, it's been 1 pack since I opened a legendary, so chances are I'm not going to go dump gold or real money into 39 more packs to try to get a legendary. But if it's been 38 packs since you've got a Knights of the Frozen Throne legendary, then it's worth spending 200 gold to guarantee yourself a legendary. So I'd recommend whenever Witchwood does come out, start keeping track of that stuff, and then that way you'll know, like, oh, okay, do I want to spend this 400 on Arena, or do I want to spend it on packs? You can look and go, oh, well, I'm guaranteed to get a legendary in a couple packs, so let me do that, see what I get, and then go from there. So
I'm spending all my gold in Arena again.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it worked out for me last time. I've got 92%, I think, of the cards in this set. I'm missing a handful of legendaries and twice as many epics.
I'm missing 20 cards total, I think. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for the stream. We should be back Friday.
Story? I got a story.
Okay.
Okay, so I know you're talking about your deck of wonders a minute ago with, RNG and all that fun stuff. Last night I was on ladder and I played against a guy who played Lorewalker Cho, and then he played Deck of Wonders. Like, it was like an invitation, like, you want to do this? Do you want to get some crazy stuff going? And I did. And so we each played like 3 Deck of Wonders, 3 or 4. We ended up with like 45, 50 cards in our hand. And this is on ladder, rank 5. This guy was doing this. And we both went to fatigue playing all of our crazy spells, and it was fantastic.
Nice. That's the kind of stuff I would be doing at rank 5.
Yeah.
So,
it was great.
I like that. I like that Lore Walker Cho, Deck of Wonders. Yeah, that's good stuff. So All right, cool. Well, hopefully with the new expansion coming out, we'll have some more fun tales to tell. I know the last time we did some deck showcases, there were some pretty interesting games. So hopefully that's the case this time. So yeah, we should be back Friday. Hopefully, having played the expansion for a little while and be able to talk about some of the decks we're working with and pick a class for the following week where we'll start our deck showcases. And that's where we really get into the meat and potatoes of Smart Move. So,
Eating potatoes.
yeah. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.